Worry about in the final minutes of Sunday's game was Patrick Mahomes' ankle. Mahomes threw 2 touchdown passes before limping off with an ankle injury in the fourth quarter. Mahomes didn't finish the game, and after the game, he said x-rays were negative. Now, the number 1 seed in the AFC is still up for grabs with 3 weeks left to go in the regular season. The 13-1 Chiefs are in the driver's seat. They have a 78% chance to get the number 1 seed according to ESPN Analytics. The Bills, who are 11-3 this season, have a 21% chance at the 1 seed. Lou, I'll start with you. How concerning is this injury that Patrick Mahomes has?
It's extremely concerning. Look, and I'll tell you why. Look, I just was on the phone with Andy Reid yesterday before they played their game. And I was just talking to him about quarterback play overall. And I said, what is it with Patrick that's so different now in terms of like his evolution? And he said, you know what? He just knows where everything, he can do things now in this offense. He has to do things now in this offense because of the weaknesses that we have that other quarterback that he couldn't have done 2-3 years ago. And a lot of that has to do with obviously his football IQ, but a lot of it also has to do with his mobility because you see how he has to negotiate things now.
Every play,
like he's constantly having to move and try and find windows in order to look downfield. Without his mobility, now what does that do to him?
Yeah.
Especially considering that the pass protection is suspect, and he's just not seeing the field and throwing the football with the same accuracies, which leads some people to wonder: is he 100% healthy anyway?
Yep.
So, like right now, you're extremely concerned because without him, this offense is dead in the water right now.
Yeah.
It just is because of all the issues that they have and the fact that he's masking a lot of things. And some people be like, he's not masking anything. I'll tell you what, take him out of there and see what happens now. To this offense if he's not in there. So right now, they need to sit him down. They need to sit him down this week at the very least, especially with the number of games they have coming up in the next 10 days.
This is a below average offense without him in it.
Yeah.
My only question is, I'm surprised he lasted this long.
Yeah.
Because every time he drops back, they got guys playing out of position. They move their left guard, who's probably their best. He and Trey Smith, the two guards.
Yep.
They put Joe Tooney at left tackle. And the assignment he got, okay, you got Miles Garrett, the reigning defensive player of the year. He's like, whoa, I didn't sign up for this. I signed up to be a left guard.
Yep.
And if you see every single play he drops back, he's having to throw a jump pass. He's having to find his way through a window. And you're right. And I said this earlier. He's not playing particularly well, but just imagine if he wasn't playing worse, they would probably.
Right.
This is a 500 team, Stephen A. With the way this offensive line is played, and they don't have explosive plays. He has to nickel and dime his way, and a lot of times once they get into the red zone, they're not able to get touchdowns. They're settling for field goals, which leaves them vulnerable. The defense played well yesterday, but come on, that's Jameis. This is Jameis reverted back to who he was, turning the football
He can't
over.
help it. He said he was going to pray. He said he was going to pray that the Lord was going to help him with the pick sixes.
Deliver him from
Well, I guess God wouldn't watch enough because he wasn't watching.
He wasn't watching this one.
With that being said, I'm surprised that Patrick Mahomes has lasted as long as he has, considering how poor his offensive line is.
Well, here's where I think the question gets interesting. So you're the Chiefs, rather. You're 13-1. You're the number 1 team in the NFL record-wise and what have you. But we know Buffalo beat them. We know that Buffalo is right on their heels. You're in position to get home field advantage. So do you play Patrick Mahomes or do you sit him? I say sit him. Here's why. Obviously, if he's healthy, the healthier he is, you can take him anywhere, the better your chances. Secondly, postseason 2022, what happens? High ankle sprain. Remember, he was dealing with that. He was dealing with high ankle sprain throughout the 2022 postseason. 72 completion percentage, 7 touchdowns, not a single interception, a 114.7 passer rating, and a Super Bowl title with a high ankle sprain. So I'm looking at that, seeing what Patrick Mahomes brings to the table, and I'm saying, you know what, you can roll with that. You take your chance to sit him down.
Yeah.
Make sure he's right because what they got, like 3 games over
They got 3 games. They're tough
over
games.
the next like 11.
You go to Pittsburgh, go to Denver. They could lose out, Stephen A.
You definitely want to set him against Houston with that pass.
Without question.
Look, you don't need him running around trying to avoid those guys.
Well, you might as well go ahead and send him out against the Steelers.
That's true too. That's true too. Look, I hope he's okay. I hope he's good. That did not look good yesterday.
Right.
But I'll tell you. But you're right. Look, the only difference is though, Stephen A. is that the offensive line was playing better that year when he was dealing with the high ankle sprain than now.
Right.
Like right now, it's literally dropped back and it's like, man, I got to get up in this pocket.
Yeah.
And like his eyes have to come down.
Yes.
He has to start seeing what's going on in front of him. Otherwise, he's going to get his head taken off. And look, they're working hard to try and navigate their way through it.
Yeah.
But you see, like the things he has to do. I mean, Patrick will escape up into the pocket, and all of a sudden you'll see him throw this football, whether it be no look or he at the last minute is able to find a receiver. And you're sitting there going, how does he know this? And this is what Andy was telling me. He's now so dialed into this offense in terms of where everyone's at that if they didn't have that component of it at quarterback, think about what this offense would be looking like right now.
Stephen, you mentioned last year that the high ankle sprain, but we saw Rashid Rice as the season progressed. He got better and better and better, and he took over. Now, are you telling me Travis Kelsey looks the same
No,
last
he
this
does
year
not.
as he does last year?
He does not.
Does not.
And I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think it's. I want to be very careful and delicate because this is a future Hall of Fame. He's one of the greatest tight ends in the history of football. I love me some Travis Kelsey, but he looks like a guy. The kind of criticism that they threw in his direction. How much was he prioritizing his health, his conditioning, and everything else that came with it in the offseason, leading into the season? We've watched him enough throughout the season to say, wait a minute. You haven't regressed because there's been slippage in your play. You walked into this season not looking like yourself, which means that you didn't do all you could in the offseason.
You know what's more concerning to me is listening to those two guys, meaning Patrick and Travis, talk about the fact that they're just not on the same page.
Right.
Like that's the thing to me. Like it doesn't even seem like a physical thing because I've always been like, as much as I respect Travis Kelsey and he is one of the greatest ever played the game.
Absolutely.
He's not one of those guys who, from a physical perspective, you're sitting there going, "Well, damn, this guy is quick. He gets out of breath." Yeah, I've always sat there and watched them going, "How the hell does he always get open?"
Yeah.
Like it's not like when I played against this dude. I mean, this guy was physically a freak. Travis has never been. It's the mental part.
Yes.
It's on the same page part. That's what's concerning to me, which leads me to this. Look, we all know, look, football players deal with a lot of stuff besides on the field, off the field. Like, what is your mind like when you're getting on the field? This team just seems a little bit disjointed. Like, they're winning games, but it's every single thing is a struggle.
Yes.
Everything. And that's the thing that, like, really irritated Patrick last year. Remember, he said, yeah, we won the championship, but I hate it this year. We had to struggle every single game. Every game had to come down to the wire. And they're back at that again. They're in that same spot right now. And it seems like something, and look, I love those guys down there, and I know them all. I mean, I love them.
Yeah.
It's such a struggle right now, and they just aren't able to put their finger
I think it's
on
to me, I'm sorry, man. I could be wrong. Y'all know a hell of a lot more than me. But I think that Tyreek Hill thing, you won Super Bowls without him, and I get that point. But you could throw it to that brother 5 yards, and he take it to the house. And they missed that element. Obviously, Rice is being out for the year. That certainly doesn't hurt. You know,
Hollywood Brown goes down, but he might be back.
Goes down, but he might be back. Pacheco had gone down. But, you know, you just look at them, and you just say, damn, that one element they had all of those years. They don't have that now, obviously.
They've got to improve the offensive line, Stephen A. I think if Patrick had time, it's just like every time he drops back, if it's not a 3-step and release the football, he's in trouble.
Yeah.
You watched him last week against the Chargers, and you watch him every single week, and you're like, bro, how long can he keep this up? And it's because of his greatness that they are the number 1 seed. Because if you talk about any other quarterback other than Patrick Mahomes, there's no way with that offensive line, they're in the position they're in.
Let me ask you, how important is the 1 seed to the Chiefs three-peating?
Well, they went on the road last year and did it. But and Lou, you know this. Everybody keeps saying, well, they did it last. You start all over. Last year ain't got nothing to do with this year.
And not only that, because you did it last year, one would surmise it'll be harder this year.
Yeah, there is no way if I'm Kansas City, I want to go to Buffalo.
No.
Yeah.
There's any team that goes into Buffalo, you're up against it.
Yeah.
You're up against it. They need to get that. That's why I'm saying they need to keep real close, track of what Buffalo's doing.
Yep.
As far as it relates to Patrick and whether or not how long you sit him down. They need to stay ahead of them. I would want to stay ahead of them.
They got the Patriots and the Jets. Buffalo has the Patriots twice and the Jets.
Yeah.
Now you tell me.
Well, I mean, that probably speaks for itself. Although A-Rod looked good yesterday. I don't want to comment about the Jets, though. They looked good yesterday.
But based on everything that you're saying, has Josh Allen this season now passed Patrick Mahomes as the scariest quarterback in the NFL?
Physically, yeah.
Attention Kansas City Chiefs fans. We have some worrying but important news regarding Patrick Mahomes, the team's undisputed star. Following Sunday's win against the Cleveland Browns,
Chiefs fan. Let's talk about something we all dread. What happens if Patrick Mahomes can't play? Yeah, I know. Just thinking about it gives me chills too. But here's the thing, the Chiefs have been preparing for this exact situation for years. Think about it. We used to rely solely on Mahomes to pull off those jaw-dropping, how did he do that plays, right? But this team isn't just about one guy anymore. They've built something special, a roster that can still win even if Mahomes is sidelined. And Sunday was a wake-up call, wasn't it? When Mahomes went down after that tackle by Dalvin Tomlinson, I'm sure your heart stopped for a second, mine definitely did. But then Carson Wentz stepped in. That's right, the veteran backup with almost 100 starts in the NFL. The Chiefs brought him in for moments just like this. Now, here's where I need your take. Do you trust Carson Wentz to lead the team if Mahomes has to sit out? Let me know in the comments. And while you're there, drop a quick vote. Can the Chiefs stay on track for the Super Bowl without Mahomes? Okay, so Mahomes has a high ankle sprain. It's not his first time dealing with this, but let's be real, it couldn't have come at a worse time. With a short week ahead and the Texans up next, things are about to get interesting. But don't hit the panic button yet, because this team is built differently now. Let's talk about why. Alright, let's dive into why I said this team is built differently now. It starts with the defense. For years, the Chiefs were all about outscoring opponents. If Mahomes and the offense put up enough points, the defense just needed to do enough to hold on. But not anymore. Did you catch how the defense showed up against the Browns? 4 interceptions. 2 fumble recoveries. They completely flipped the script. Justin Reed even said, "They come in bunches and it's coming at a good time." You can feel that momentum, can't you? It's like they're saying, "Don't worry, we've got this." Now here's a question for you. Who do you think is the MVP of this defense right now? Is it Justin Reed? Trent McDuffie, maybe? Hit the comments and tell me who gets your vote. And speaking of McDuffie, what a game he had. That interception was a long time coming, and you could see how much it meant to him. Plus, 3 pass deflections and a tackle for loss? The guy was everywhere. It's performances like his that give you confidence this team can survive without Mahomes for a bit. But let's not sugarcoat things. The defense can't do it all, and there's still work to be done. So, what's next? Let's talk about the guy who might be leading the offense if Mahomes isn't ready. Alright, let's get into the big question. Can Carson Wentz hold it down if Mahomes isn't ready? I know, Wentz might not be the flashiest name out there, but hear me out. This is exactly why the Chiefs signed him, to be ready for a moment like this. Look, Wentz has nearly 100 NFL starts under his belt. He's been through the ups and downs, and he knows how to handle pressure. Stepping in during a tight game might not faze him, but the real question is whether the offensive line can protect him. Did you notice the adjustments against the Browns? Joe Thuney moved to tackle, and Mike Caliendo stepped in at guard. It helped for a bit, but the Browns still got to the quarterback too often, especially in the second half. Here's where you come in. What's your confidence level in Wentz right now? On a scale from 1 to 10, where do you stand? Drop that in the comments. But let's be honest, this offense without Mahomes is still a big unknown. Wentz isn't Mahomes, and nobody expects him to be. The key will be simplifying the game plan, leaning on Isaiah Pacheco in the run game, and letting the defense keep them in it. The good news? Wentz doesn't have to be perfect. He just needs to hold the fort until Mahomes gets back. But with 2 games in such a short span, Texans on Saturday and Steelers on Christmas Day, it's a lot to ask. So, how do the Chiefs balance winning now with keeping their eyes on the playoffs? Let's break that down next. Here's where things get tricky, my friend. The Chiefs have to walk a fine line between staying competitive now and keeping Mahomes healthy for the games that matter most, the playoffs. Let's look at the schedule. They've got the Texans on Saturday, a team they should beat even with Wentz under center. But it's a short week, and then they face the Steelers on Christmas Day. That's 2 games in 9 days. Do you rush Mahomes back for either of these? Or do you play it safe and trust the team you've built to handle business? Coach Andy Reid has a tough call to make, and I don't envy him. What do you think? Should the Chiefs play it cautious and rest Mahomes for as long as possible, or get him back in there to secure the number 1 seed in the AFC? Let me know in the comments. Here's the thing, the Chiefs have a 2-game lead over Buffalo, but the Bills own the tiebreaker. That means every game matters. But at the same time, if Mahomes isn't 100%, risking further injury could derail everything. Winning a regular season game is nice, but the Chiefs are chasing history, a 3rd straight Super Bowl title. That's the real prize. And honestly, this team might be better equipped to handle the pressure than ever before. With the defense stepping up and players like Wentz ready to fill the gaps, the Chiefs are proving they're more than just one player. But still, it's a gamble. So, as we look ahead to these pivotal games, let's wrap this up with some final thoughts, and I've got one more question for you. All right, let's bring it all together. The Chiefs are in a position most teams can only dream of. They're built to win, even when their superstar quarterback is sidelined. The defense is playing lights-out football, Carson Wentz is ready to step up, and Mahomes? Well, we know he'll fight to get back as soon as possible. But here's where you come in. What's your prediction for the next few weeks? Do you think the Chiefs can secure the #1 seed without Mahomes? Or is this the moment where the team's depth truly gets tested? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to vote. Are you confident the Chiefs can handle the Texans and Steelers without their MVP? And hey, if there's one thing we've learned this season, it's that the Chiefs aren't just chasing wins, they're chasing greatness. Every decision they make now is about the bigger picture, another Super Bowl ring. So, stick around, Chiefs fan, because the next chapter in this story is just getting started. Be sure to drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to hit that like button if you're as hyped for the playoffs as I am.